Hey guys, today I'm testing two setups. Actually testing two reels and two rods. I'm testing the Star Rod 7.6 versus the Star Rod 8-footer. And I'm testing the Stradic FJ4000 versus the Penn Spinfisher 4500. What I'm going to do is first cast the Stradic on the 7.5 foot rod with a 1 ounce bank sinker. Then I'm going to cast the Spinfisher 4500 on the 8-foot star rod with a 1 ounce bank sinker. Then I'm going to flip the reels on the rods and do another set of casts. And then we'll be able to compare how well the Stradic casts versus the Spinfisher, and if the blanks have any effect on casting distance. So first I'm going to start with the Stradic on a 7.5 foot rod. $65, $67. Okay, that went 75 yards. Since it went 75 yards and it's such a big difference from the other test, I'm gonna cast best out of 5. 76 yards, 80 yards. So I'm really impressed with this combo. It's 7.5 star rod with a 4000 Stradic, 20-pound Suffix 832. The best casting distance I got with a 1 ounce bank sinker is 80 yards, which is pretty good. Okay, now I'm gonna test my newest setup, which is a 8-foot star rod, Stellar Surf, 1/2 ounce to 2 ounces with a Penn Spinfisher 4500, 30-pound Suffix 832 with an 1 ounce bank sinker. $70 yards, 70 yards, 71 yards, 73 yards. Now I'm going to swap the reels. I'm going to put the Stradic on the 8-footer and the Spinfisher on the 7.5-footer and do the same test over again. Okay, first up is the Spinfisher 4500 on the 7.5 foot star rod. And we have the best I got on the Stradic in this combo was 80 yards. So let's see what this can do. $60 yards, 67 yards, 71 yards, 67 yards, 73 yards. So the best I got on this combo with the Penn Spinfisher 4500 on the 7.5 rod is 73 yards. Now I have the Stradic 4000 FJ mounted on the 8-foot rod. The best I got on the 8-foot rod on the Spinfisher, I think, was around 70 yards. Maybe more, I don't know. I gotta look at the video. So we'll see how this does. $76 yards, 71 yards, 76 yards, 80 yards. Okay, so how do these two reels compare? The Stradic 4000 versus the Penn Spinfisher 4500. Both are really good reels. This is much lighter than this one. However, this one is not sealed and this one is. It's not waterproof, it's watertight. You can't reel it underwater, but if you take a splash or anything, it will be fine. Both have waterproof drags. This one, the seal is on top and on the bottom. This one is the seal is only on top. So if you dunk this one, the drag can still get wet. With this one, it can't. This is all metal here, including the rotor. This one is metal here, but the rotor is graphite. They don't flex, meaning this is very, very solid, it doesn't move. And this one's very solid, it doesn't move. When I got the Penn Spinfisher, I was afraid that it will not manage the braided line very well. I thought that I'm going to get bulges here and it was going to create wind knots. As you could see here, the line lay is really good, especially for a non-warm driven reel. It's very nice. It casts just as good as the Stradic. You might not notice this because of the numbers. This one did outcast this reel in the test by about 10 yards. However, The Stradic has a 20-pound Suffix 832 braid, which is already broken in, and this reel has a 30-pound braid Suffix 832, which is not broken in. It still has that coating on top of it. So when you cast this reel, you could definitely feel more resistance from the guides, from the line guide stripper than this reel, because this one is already broken in. So the 10-yard difference in casting between these two reels is really insignificant, because once this breaks in, or if I use lower strength line, I think it will be almost the same. For $100 on eBay, this is the best reel you can buy for saltwater fishing on the market right now. This reel, if you're lucky, you could get it for about $160, $170, and it retails for about $200. This reel retails for about, I would say, $149, but you could get it on eBay for $100. You can't beat this. I'm definitely holding on to this reel. I might get another $3,500 for kayak fishing. Don't get me wrong, I still love this reel. It's super light. It's about 11 ounces, and this one is, I believe, 16 ounces even with the line. And this one I think was 12, maybe with line. So this is definitely much lighter and much, much smoother than this reel. But I do like the resistance of this reel. When you reel this reel in, it has a resistance to it. This one doesn't. This one you could reel in with one finger. You could reel this one with your pinky. So this one's kind of loose, I would say, very smooth, very loose, and this one's more solid feeling, which I like. So that's really it. Both great reels. This is the fancy one. This is the workhorse. Your choice. Another thing I want to mention is that I read a bunch of reviews on the Spinfisher about clicking, about weird things going on when you're reeling this reel, and the spool goes up and down on the highest and on the lowest cycle of the spool moving up and down. People would claim that it clicks, it gets jammed. I have absolutely no issues with this reel. It's very smooth. It casts well, no wind knots with 30-pound braid. I just don't have that issue. The thing that I've noticed on the box when I bought this reel, it was the SKU dash version 5. So I'm sure that Penn is working out all the issues, if they did have any to begin with. And my box said version 5, so maybe that's something that might help you out. Okay, so now that we talked about the reels, let's compare the 7.5-foot star rod, rated 1/2 ounce to 1.5 ounce, versus the 8-foot star rod, Stellar Surf, 1/2 ounce to 2 ounces. For 1 ounce weights, the 7.6 casts just as well as the 8. So if you're fishing anything up to 1 ounce or less, I would say go with the 7.5 star rod. If you're going to be casting over 1 ounce, and over 1 ounce meaning 1.5 ounce up to 2 ounce maybe, I would say the 8-foot rod will be better. In my tests, as you saw, both of them casted almost the same. However, the big difference is that this rod, the 8-foot rod, is not much heavier, but just less comfortable to use over a long period of time than the 7.5. The 8-foot rod blank is much thicker. It's a medium heavy action versus the medium of the 7.5. And the butt length is about 2 inches shorter, and it makes a big difference. It does, because it's just much more comfortable to use all day when you have a shorter butt. So overall, still love these rods, and I'm going to probably stick with the 7.5.